Hello, this is your 9.21 tutorial. I'm going to start the drawing by starting a new drawing and opening up our template file. My template files are saved in my documents. Yours could be in a different location. I use the McFatter templates. McFatter, ACAD. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the grid to make the video a little bit easier to see. This next step you do not have to do. I'm going to insert the image of the drawing we're working on. Okay. Now, once you have the drawing ready to go, it's a good idea to save your drawing. At this point, it's a good idea to go ahead and save your drawing. Once we use the save icon, it'll automatically come up with save drawing as. This being your 9.21, save it in your chapter 9 folder. Then you can save the drawing as 9.21. And now the name will be displayed at the top of the screen. We have a given layout that we're going to follow for the drawing. Let us start with drawing a box. Distance of 5 by 5. Right click and enter. It's very important, make sure your ortho command is on when drawing straight lines. Then I'm going to quickly do all my dimensions from my right to left with construction lines. I'm going to copy from that right side, selecting a base point out in the black area so that I don't hit anything on the inside. I'm going to move my mouse over to the left, and I'll type my first measurement at 1. Then my second dimension is at 2. Then my third dimension is at 3.5. And I already have the 5 already done. So there's all my lines. Now I'm going to do the dimension going from the bottom up, that 1. I'm going to copy that, placing it in a random spot, moving upward. Now I'm going to connect the two 1s together to create the slope for our slope surface. I'm going to erase the two 1s. Then I'm going to use the trim command, selecting the slope surface as my cutting plane and cutting away at all the extra lines. I now have my view taken care of. Now I need to go ahead and create my auxiliary view. I'm going to use the offset command. This distance can be pretty much any dimension. I'm going to do it at 5. Selecting the surface and then moving away from it. And then I'm going to do the thickness. The thickness is 5 as well. So I'm just going to select that line again and go out 5. Right click, enter. Now I'll use all the dimensions coming from my left hand side toward the right at 1, 3. So I'm going to go ahead and use the offset command at a distance of 1, selecting that line and bringing it inward. Right click, enter. Right click, repeat, offset, distance of 3. And now project my lines off of the surface across. If I look carefully, I can see that line goes to that line right there at the 3. So I'm going to project that across. I'm going to look for the perpendicular snap point. I'm going to repeat the process for this line here. And then I'm going to connect the front edge for that 1. Then I'm going to connect to that line. Then I'm going to draw another line coming from there to here. Remove the 1. And I'm going to trim using these 2 lines as my cutting planes to cut away that and this. I'm going to repeat my trim using this line and this line as 2 cutting planes to cut away at that and this. And I can just erase this line. Now, I want to show that the projection is coming from here. So I'm going to switch my layer to Ano and draw a line coming across here. Because I cannot have this line touching here or here, I want to have a line about the approximate size of a dimension. If I put an aligned dimension on here, I can see the break distance. I'm going to go a little bit further than that. I'm going to do an offset of about 0.25 from here and from here. And I'm going to trim that using those 2 lines. And that creates that projection line. Next thing I'm going to do is my top view. I'm going to move this out of the way. You do not have to worry about that because it won't exist on your drawing. Switch back to my layer 0. Do my line work. Going up. This distance doesn't matter. You want to just make sure you have enough room so that this does not interfere with your auxiliary view. I'm going to go ahead and copy. Do my distance at 5. Okay. And then since from the top end coming back is at 3, I'm going to do a little bit of math to make that 2. And I'm going to make the next one 4. Because that dimensions. If I dimension from here to here, I'll give you my 1, my 3, and my 5. All right, then I'm going to project my line up from this edge here, straight across. Project this line up. Project this line coming up here. And I'll connect my dots going from each point. Necessary for the drawing. You can then remove these 2 lines. I do need a line coming from here to here. Then I can use the trim command. Cut away at these 2. This one, because I traced over it, I can just delete. This one I do not need. Then I will use the trim command on the diagonal to cut away at this, leaving that front edge. And then I'm going to use trim, select these 2, cut that back end, line. Trim away this. Then I have my top view. And I'm going to project my line work over. Do my left-hand view. Bringing a line across here, making sure not to impact my auxiliary view. And I'll project my top. Copy. My distance again at 5. And the math worked out to 2 and 4. And I'll trim this out. Project my lines across. Connecting my diagonal. And then trimming accordingly. Now let's go ahead and take this and look at a sheet layout, find out what size we like the best. On an A size sheet, let's try 1:1. Obviously this is way too small. We could try it out at 1:2. Not, still way too small. Go to 1:4. 1:4 looks like it would fit. Let's try it at 11:17. At a 1:1, still too small. So we go to 1:2. And there we have it. Late, got the top view. So we potentially could make this fit if we bring our top view down a little bit. Or we could do this at a 1/4 inch scale. Let's go ahead and do this at 1/4 inch scale. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the grid. Go ahead and lock in that scale. Change our drawing to Anno. But before we do that, let's go ahead and select all of our main objects. And change them to the object layer. Now we can go ahead and start doing our dimensions. I'm going to go back over the model real quick. Escape. You do not have to do this step. I'm just going to make this a little bit easier for us to view. I'm also going to go ahead and bring this drawing just a little bit down. You may not have to do that, depending on how you did your layout. But be careful, make sure this stays in line. Use ortho when you're moving it down, if you do. Take one quick look. Still be a little too tight. Okay, viewport is locked. I can zoom in and zoom out. All right, let's place our dimensions. Let's do our overall. Enter 2. Now, because we have this 3 coming in through here, 3.5, it crowds the 2. I'm going to delete that dimension. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a dimension coming from my left to right, which will pull that dimension on the outside. Also, I'm going to dimension the top from here to here, so I don't crowd my dimensions in the bottom. I don't want to bring a dimension through the drawing. Then I'll place my dimensions here. Okay, just missing one more dimension here to here. Looks like all my line weight, all my work, my drawing, dimensions accounted for. All right, now at this stage, you'll go ahead and fill in your information, project name, your scale, drawn by, what sheet 1 of 1. This will not be on your drawing, so you don't have to worry about it. When you're ready to print, before that, let's go ahead and save the drawing. Then we'll go ahead and print. Continue single sheet. This should come up if you're using the correct template with DWG to PDF. You can preview, make sure everything looks nice and clean. Mine has this, don't worry about that. Close this out. You're going to press the OK button. You'll then be prompted to save it. Make sure you save it in your completed work and then turn it in the appropriate method. This has been your 9.21 tutorial, and I'll see you in the classroom. Have a nice one. Bye-bye.